Oh, hey, what's up, guys? It's TDubsKid here, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to clean, lubricate, check, and adjust the chain on the TW200. As you can tell, my chain is fairly dirty, so typically before I get to the chain, I generally like to wash my bike. So I guess I'll just show you how I wash it. There's probably like a million different ways you could wash it. Probably some are better than others. So to start out, if it's really dirty, I just stick it over here in the dirt before I put it on the pavement. And I'll usually take this guy off because I don't want to get this wet. It's not waterproof, unfortunately. And then I just take an 8mm wrench and I just go ahead and take the chain cover off. So it's just 2 bolts. And it just slides right off. There's a little hook that goes in right there. And I just come in here and get some hose. Give it some bike washing juice. And then I just wash all this mud off. All this mud, I had so much fun getting on here. And also, it's really hard to get it off the exhaust header because it like bakes it on there. Kind of like pottery class when you made a clay pot and then they had to like fire it for like 1,000,000,000 degrees. Get in that skid plate. Try not to spray this way into the exhaust. It's just not a super good idea. Get a lot of water in there. I got my bike really muddy one time, and the type of mud it was just impossible to get off. It took like hours to get it all off. Try to get under the fender. Pressure washers are probably a little faster, but they say not to pressure wash the chain. I'll just spray this guy off. So once I get the majority of the mud off, I just roll it back onto the concrete. There's probably dirt from so many places right here. It's crazy. So after I'm all done rinsing it off, I'll just take this spray bottle. It just has water and some car wash soap in it and a rag. And then I just start from the top and work my way down. I put soap on everything. Scrub a dub. Next I get the seat in the tank. Get that license plate. And then down here, I'll also use a grunge brush. And don't forget to clean this guy up a little bit. Now that it's all clean for the most part, it's time to work on the chain. So I always clean the chain before adjusting it, and this is because a dirty chain will appear to have a lot less slack than it really does. To get this chain clean, I'm going to use a grunge brush, some dedicated cleaner and lubricant, a rag, and the hose. You're going to need a way to move the chain, and pushing the bike around to get all the areas kinda just sucks, so I recommend getting a motorcycle wheel rolling stand or a motorcycle lift. These will make your life so much easier. Also, if you have the stock skid plate and plan on using a lift, make sure you take it off or else it might get crushed because it's similar to a pop can. But this aftermarket skid plate handles it no problem. So I just take some Maxima chain cleaner and spray it on as I rotate the wheel. I'm sure there's tons of other stuff out there to clean the chain, but I found this to get the chain super clean, super fast. Also, if you're using an O-ring chain, make sure whatever you use is safe for it. Then I'll take the grunge brush and brush the chain back and forth as I slowly spin the wheel, making sure to change the angle of the brush to get all 4 sides of the chain nice and clean. After I get tired, I'll just rinse it off real good with the hose and use a dry rag to get most of the water off. Whatever you do, please don't do any of this with the bike running unless you want to lose a finger. Now I'll just spray the chain lube on while spinning the tire. I like to focus most of it on the inside, but I put a little on the outside and on the side of the chain as well. I like to put a lot of lube on this regular chain, but if you're using an O-ring chain, you really don't need as much. I'll spin the tire around a few times, just to get all that lube in there. I'll also just very lightly hold a clean rag on it while spinning, just to get some of the excess off. Well, now that is one good looking chain. So to check and adjust the chain, you're going to need a tape measure, preferably with millimeters unless you like fractions, a 19mm wrench, 22mm socket, and a ratchet. And I also recommend using a torque wrench to make sure your wheel doesn't fly off. Before you get started, make sure the bike is off the lift and it's resting on the kickstand. Also make sure it's in neutral and there's no extra weight on the bike. To check the adjustment, you just gotta place the tape measure on the bottom of the chain, right in the middle, which is about parallel with the passenger peg. Push down on the chain and line it up with a tape measure. Without moving the tape measure, move the chain up as far as it'll go. Looks like this one is about 50 millimeters. So the owner's manual says the chain slack should be around 35 to 60 millimeters, but the service manual says it should be between 30 and 40 millimeters. So it would be safe to say the spec is between 30 and 60 millimeters. Remember, if it's below 30 millimeters, you could overload the engine components, and if it goes above 60, your chain could break or fly off. So I definitely recommend checking this periodically. This chain is in spec, but I'll still show you how to adjust it. Simply loosen up the axle by holding the bolt with the 19 millimeter and breaking the nut loose with the 22 millimeter. Once loose, you can turn the snail adjusters counterclockwise to increase chain slack and clockwise to decrease chain slack. I typically use the handle of my ratchet to tap it into the next notch. Then I do the same to the other side. Make extra sure both sides are in the same exact notch, or it could cause alignment problems. And before I tighten it down, I'm going to check the chain slack again. So it looks like it's right at 30 millimeters. Perfect. And it's good to know that each notch equals about 20 millimeters of adjustment. Now I'll just use a torque wrench to tighten down the axle nut to 90 Newton meters or 65 foot-pounds. Make sure to hold the axle bolt with a 19 millimeter or else it might just keep spinning. I also like to double check everything just to be sure. And now this chain is ready to tear that big fat rear tire through some more dirt. But wait, there's one more thing you should do. Changing the position of the rear wheel will also change the rear brake free play, so that should be adjusted as well. All you need is a tape measure and you line it up with a point on the lever, push down until it stops while holding the tape measure completely still, and this measurement should be between 20 and 30 millimeters. If it's not, just turn the adjusting wing nut clockwise to decrease free play or counterclockwise to increase free play. Once it's in spec, you're all done. Now it's time to go riding again, get that bike dirty. Well guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more TW200 how-to videos, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.